Bro, welcome to the Mindset Call that we are here each and every Monday, 9 p.m. UK time. It is your girl, Nikki Sutherland, the Money and Mindset Mentor. And I'm so excited about the topic that we have today. Last week, we were looking at the power that we can find on the inside of us when we have challenges and how we can really be able to push through, even when challenges come through. The week before that, we really made a decision to really look at being having the power versus being powerless. Do you guys remember that? And that was about choosing. So when things come into our environment or things happen, we have a choice. We can choose to have power in that situation by looking at what we can do and making decisions there, or we can choose to be powerless and have a pity party and say, I can't afford it, I can't do this, I don't have time, I don't have the skill, this has all gone wrong. And we chose that we were going to be powerful. We were going to choose our power over being powerless. Go ahead and type power inside the chat. And now this week, we are going to look at something that's very dear to my heart. I mean, I'm going to do my best. Okay, and we may skip into chapter 2 a little bit, okay, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that I avoid going off track, because this is something that is very, very close to my heart. And I can say that I have been guilty of some of these things as well when it comes to relinquishing my power and putting my power, you know, in the form of other people. And so today, we're really going to look at the power that's in our hands. That's the title for today's call. I think I'm getting the old sniffles, but we're still going to push through, okay? So the power that is in our hands. And I want to just tell you guys a quick story about something that happened today, actually. And those of you know, I'm part of a netball team. You know, we played netball today. You know, your girl made the team, so I'm competing semi-pro. Let's go. And I'm just very, you know, really competitive in my spirit. And to be honest, so is my team. The girls that are there, we are very competitive. I've been playing now since obviously school days, but then when I stopped at school, I started back probably about 2.5 years now. It's been 2.5 years. I think it's about 2.5 years I've been back, and we have a competitive bunch. And I think it's a great energy to have people that are all focused on one goal, to win, and, you know, doing the best that we can to keep fit, keep healthy, and as well as, you know, win the game. And so each Monday we have training and we have games, practicing with each other. And, you know, as it normally is with games, what happens is when you have a big squad, you will have sort of 2 captains and they will pick, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. And, you know, you'll get the favorites getting picked first, and maybe the, you know, you just don't want to be picked last, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. And I remember, you know, I was nowhere near picked last. I think I was like 3rd out of the whole squad. So I was like, yeah, I didn't even think about it. I was just like, okay, cool. I've been picked. Let me go over to my team. But then it was getting to the wire, and it suddenly hit me. There was like the last 2 left, and you could see their faces like, oh my God, we're like the last ones. We're the last ones left to be selected, kind of thing. And it kind of triggered me because I remember that feeling of rejection. How many of you have ever had a feeling of rejection before, where you feel like no one picks me, or no one's chosen me, or no one wants me, or am I good enough? Or, you know, you start to doubt your skill set. You start to doubt, you know, whether or not you make the cut, whether or not you have to maybe change to fit in, or, you know, and that one little example triggered me. And you know what I realized? I realized that because I was selected so early on, I didn't see it. It didn't bother me. I was no longer affected by it because I was chosen quite early on. But then I thought, you know, who feels it knows it. And when you've been in that position of being the last one, being the one that nobody kind of wants, or the one that's been selected last, there's that feeling of rejection, that feeling of, am I good enough? Am I worthy? You know, why didn't they pick me? What is it about me? What's the issue? And, you know, here's the part of it. The coach, these two people were actually new. And the coach was like, the reason why I didn't pick you guys is because I didn't know what position you prefer to play. So I wanted to ask you so you can get the position that you want. And depending on the position will depend on what team you're on. So it wasn't the fact that they were the worst, why they didn't get picked. It wasn't the fact that they had no skill, no worth, no talent, no purpose. It was the fact that they got to make a decision on where they wanted to be. In fact, they had probably had a better option than what everybody else had, because they got to choose what position that they were able to make. What am I saying? I'm saying that there are some things in our life that happen to us, we say for us, around us, that can potentially trigger us to feel left out. Has anybody felt left out before? Has anybody been in a place where maybe you're not the favorite sibling, you're not the favorite child, you're isolated in the family, rejected at work, rejected in marriage, rejected in, like, everybody seems to be getting married, everybody seems to be having a business, everybody seems to be doing well, last one to have a kid, last one to get, like, if we are not careful, guys, that spirit of rejection can come unto us until we start to overanalyze and forget the power that's on the inside of us. And so the book says, no matter how frustrated we feel, there is always a way out. This is page 12. It says, every situation that arises, we choose to be powerful or powerless. It may not always feel like it, but there's always a choice. Now, what is the choices that we have? Now, I want to give you another example today. And I had a phone call from somebody who called me today and was like, Nikki, I just want to let you know the contract that that I was going to sign with you, like I've signed, the person signed a year contract with me, and the contract was due for renewal. And they said, Nikki, I know I was supposed to sign up a contract with you to renew the contract, but I'm not going to renew the contract because I just wanted to be honest with you and say that I found another supplier. There's somebody else that is going to provide a similar service. It's not exact. I know it's not better. I know that the systems is not as good as what you can provide, but I've chosen to go there because of price, right? And, you know, years ago, I would have been like, okay, what's the price? Can we negotiate? Da, 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 da. But you see, when you know your worth, and when you are confident in yourself and you understand the power that's on the inside of you, you can confidently, with integrity, with your whole heart, say to that person, I wish you all the best. I pray that whatever you go and do, you go on and you be successful. I pray that the new connection that you have works to your good and is good for you. I pray, and I say that genuinely, with no shade, with no, look who he's going to, when you get to a place where you understand the power that's on the inside of you, you cannot be picked and still have the power. You could not be picked and still know who you are and understand, because, you know, part of me felt bad for him, because I was like, yo, I was like, you, because of price. So I said, it's because of price. I said, to be honest, you know, my target is not usually, you know, people that can't afford the services that I provide. So if it's price is the reason why, you know, you have to pick another supplier, then, you know, I encourage you to pick them, because my price is my price. And so it was a power moment where it was like, you can't afford me. I get it. I completely understand that I'm not within your budget, and that's absolutely fine. You know, should you change your mind, and I'm still rooting for you. Like, wholeheartedly, I am still rooting for you. I still want you to win, but I understand that we don't have a business. Let me tell you this. If you know, break partnerships with somebody, or you're no longer benefiting them, or they're no longer benefiting you, and you can't be cordial and you can't still have love, there is a spirit of rejection that needs to be dealt with. There's something on the inside, because look at it this way. I genuinely believe this, that anyone that is not for you will exit your life. This is the law, and we went through that in 7 laws last, not the book before that. We went through the law of honor. You guys remember that? And the law of honor says this: anything at all that is not for you will find a way to reject you, will find a way to be repelled away from you. And so when you're upset that these people are rejecting you, or these business deals may not be going through, or something is happening that seems to not go your way, you got to understand that the laws are working in your favor, and that you can choose to be powerless, or you can choose to claim the power and say, okay, they can't afford me. I'm not within their budget. I don't have to change my prices. They need to increase their income to work with me. They need to increase their budget to work with me. Oh, I understand. Like, when you understand your worth, you no longer allow people that don't have the budget to make you second guess yourself. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? If you go into a store, I remember when myself and my husband were shopping for our wedding ring, and I remember looking at different rings, and we were in the store, and you know, someone came in the store and they were like, oh, we like the diamonds. What carat are those, and what carat are those? And they were like, well, these ones are $2,000, these ones are $3,000, these ones are $5,000, and then each section had a price bracket. And so the diamonds never lost their value, because the couple that came in after us had to go down a price bracket because they couldn't afford the diamonds that we were looking at, and the diamond forever kept its value. I need you guys to understand right now on this call that if you do not know your worth, there will be people that want to downgrade your value. There's going to be people that want to put you on sale when your value is that 24, 48 carat diamond, but you don't even realize you're a diamond. So you now lower your pricing and you start to sell like your copper or like your bronze, and now you devalue yourself because you're not confident in who you are. And the book says you have a choice to choose powerless or power. Will you choose power for yourself today? The book also says it starts with you. I want you to write down, it starts with me. How do I love myself? How do I feel about myself? Where did this spirit of rejection come from? And I said it in the podcast, I believe, and I was talking about, really wanting to impress my mom. And I don't know if you guys ever had a parent or parents that were like this, but growing up as a Caribbean girl, one of the things I struggled to hear was I never really heard my mom say, I love you, I'm proud of you. It wasn't something that was traditionally said growing up. Now, she would tell the whole world, I'm proud of my daughter. She's a big bank manager. She's an entrepreneur. She's doing this. But to my face, to my ears, I couldn't remember her ever saying that to me. And so because of that, I now went into this people-pleasing situation where I forever was doing the most to impress my mom, got good grades, got a good job, gave her all my money when it came to, when it came to me getting my wages, and just giving her everything, just desperately craving to please her, to hear her say, Nikki, I'm proud of you. Nikki, I love you. And that never, ever came. And so guess what happened? It now starts to leak in to some of the other areas of my life. And so because I'm looking for love in all the wrong places, the affirmation, the confirmation, the spirit of rejection is getting me to now start begging friend and doing the most and paying for everyone and, over checking in on everyone that's not checking up on me. And I'm now going and overcompensating my relationship because I'm craving and looking for somebody to tell me the power that's on the inside of me, for someone to tell me that I'm good enough, someone to tell me I'm pretty, someone to tell me that I have skills, talents, and gifts, and that I'm going to be rich. But here's what the book says. The book says it starts with you. The book says that it starts with me, that I have to look at the choices that I make. I have to look at how I teach other people to treat me. I have to make the decisions for myself. I had to make a serious decision and ask myself, Nikki, are you going to carry on like this? Because there's certain things that happen, patterns. You start to see the patterns happening in your life. You start to see the same things, the same type of guy. Hold on, how come every guy I'm meeting lately is just taking from me and using me and abusing me and physically beating me? And why am I attracted to those type of people? How come all the type of friends that I'm getting are, none of them even, none of them even check up on me, but it's me checking up on them. So when you do get a good friend, or when you do get a good man, or when you do get a good opportunity, because we're so used to being used, so used to being the one that gives all the time, you don't recognize it because it's always about having to please somebody else. I was speaking to a beautiful lady the other day. She's a coach, right? And she was saying to me, Nikki, I really want to break the 6-figure mark. What do I have to do to get into 6 figures? And as I'm talking to her, and I said, I've got 3 things for you. I said, the first thing is blah, 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 blah. And as I was about to say the second thing, she was like, yes, because I see in you. And she started to pour into me. I said, you're not used to people pouring into you. You have a need. The minute someone says you look good, you're like, yeah, you do too. You can't say thank you. You're so used to giving it back. You're so used to you're not used to somebody else giving you a compliment. How many of you can take a compliment and just say thank you? How many of you can take a compliment and say thank you? I've really worked on that. I'm so glad that you've seen it. Thank you. No, it's not cocky. It's appreciating the moment. Stop deflecting away because of the past issues. And I'm sure I said in that podcast, I said, I went through years thinking I had daddy issues. I didn't have daddy issues. My dad left when I was younger. I had mummy issues. I took on my mum's pain. I took on my mum's burden. I took on my mum's anger because she told me about my dad. I didn't know nothing about him. It was her. And so I had this whole defense mechanism for my mom. I needed to fix it because it was my dad that messed her up and I'm the outcome of it and I need to fix it. And so we now start to rework some of these old paradigms that we've been putting into us. Oh, how come you're so maternal? Maybe because you were the one that had to do it in the house when your parents were at work, or you were the older sibling, or you were the younger one. And so everyone had left and you were left with mama. You were left with daddy, or you saw some things that you shouldn't have seen. And you start to rewire now, where did I lose my power? How do I get my power back? When did I stop loving myself? How many of you remember when you was a teenager? Yo, when I was a teenager, butter couldn't melt. I was the most confident. You can almost call it arrogant, cocky, whatever you want to call it. No one could chat to me. I knew exactly who I was. I was this and I was that. I was net rolling and all them things, right? You got to go back to your innocence, the confidence of your innocence before life showed you certain things. And I said to myself, Nikki, where did you lose your power? At what point did you stop loving yourself? You stop loving yourself where you don't even want to do your hair. You stop loving yourself where you don't even want to buy yourself a new outfit, a new dress. You stop loving yourself where you just wear, all these old clothes, tracksuits, hoodies, because you're in hiding. You stop loving yourself. You can't even show up for yourself. Nikki, when did you stop loving yourself? You don't want to pay nothing for yourself. You don't even want to invest in yourself. When did you stop loving yourself? And I had to do the work. And what the book says is it says, in addition to the skills that you have, you also have a capacity to develop or acquire new talents and skills. Your capacity has to do with the skills that you have in the future. And you have a lot of potential and a lot of possibilities within you. But you also have a history, and your history is a record of where you have been and what you have done. You have dealt with people in certain ways that have resulted in various outcomes with them in the past. You may have found that even with new assignments, people already have feelings and ideas about you. Perhaps they've heard something about you. Your history has preceded you. You may carry that history and it affects with you for a long time. Sometimes our history feels like ankle irons. It keeps us from being effective right because of something that's happened in the past. How many of us know people or even ourselves that the past has blocked us from the future? We spoke about this with Cass on Saturday, where Cass was talking about, because I've been scammed before, it can now hold me back from really putting myself forward again, because I'm now dubious. I'm now reading every fine print. I'm now double checking, thinking everything's a scam because I've been scammed before. How many of us have been like that? Oh, I've heard of these things. Oh, that sounds a bit scammy. Or you see somebody message you. This happened to me with an amazing lady, absolutely incredible lady. And I messaged her. I saw a beautiful post on her Instagram, and I messaged her. I was like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. Where did you get that from? And I wanted to buy it from her. Funny enough, I thought she was selling it. So I was like, where did you get that from? That's so beautiful. And she was like, why? What do you want? Why? It's like, yo, it's like, don't worry, I don't want anything. I thought you were selling it. I was gonna buy it. That's all. No. And I could tell, and you know what? I've been there, and I knew exactly where she was coming from. So I called her. You have the video call section on Instagram. And I said, girl, I love your page. You are beautiful. I don't want nothing from you. I was simply complimenting you. And I see something in you that I see in myself, that I see in the old me. And that's why I've taken the time out to call you. But I love you. And she was like, huh? What do you want? Like looking at me side-eye. I said, have a fabulous day. I want nothing from you. How many of us are skeptical? Even if someone says, hello, you're holding your bag. What about this? Someone's singing loudly down the street. Come on now. Someone's singing loudly down the street and you put your bag like this and you hold your bag. Because they're going to rob you, right? Because someone's singing loudly, someone who has joy, someone who may be just enjoying their day just that little bit too much because you ain't enjoying your day, because you're a misery guy, because you're too scared to sing out loud, because it's not part of your DNA. All of a sudden, that person's the enemy. Guys, I've been there, but we get to choose. I saw somebody singing out loud on the radio and I just started singing with them. I was like, hey, and we had a whole vibe. The person weren't crazy. They were just grateful for life. And after I'd spoken to them, he was telling me how, he'd overcame cancer and so many blessings had happened. And he was just so joyful for life. And I said, you know what? I get it. Have a fabulous day. He didn't rob me. I didn't rob him, right? Have you guys ever seen those American films where they go into like a store or something? I think I don't know if it's coming to, no, it's not coming to America. It might be one of them olden day films and they're staring at the black people that walk in because they think the black people are stealing, whilst there's some white people over there completely cleaning off the shelves, but they're not looking at them. They're like, hurry up and buy. You guys remember that film? Hurry up and buy. Right? So we have these crazy perceptions, and believe it or not, those perceptions, they start within, and we got to challenge those paradigms. The book says it all starts with you. What is the history that's holding you back? Believe it or not, it's affect how you do anything is how you do everything. And we were having a little chat before the event started the other day, and I was talking, I believe it was to Bev, and I was chatting to Bev, and I said to Bev, do you know what? It's so funny. They was having a conversation and I said, do you know what? It's exactly like this. I'm so competitive. I want to win. I don't want to lose. I know losing is a part of the game. Like you lose sometimes in life, right? But I don't want to lose. I'm so competitive. And I'm really competitive. My family's competitive. My husband's competitive. I think that's why we're just, so synergized. But we're also, we're competitive, right? And so we do things that make no sense. Like, you could judge me if you want. The little girl was crying yesterday. Why? Because we were like, last one out the car is a rotten egg. There's no prizes. But just because we like to just have these stupid challenges where no one's making any money, no one wins anything, but we still are going for it. And I mean, literally, my son and husband are dragging each other on the drive, not letting each other in. And then my son's picking up the little baby, who's 5 years old, and flinging her over the drive, right? And I've got the key, I'm running in, because I'm like, yeah, first for what, I don't know, but I'm all happy that I've won. And then my other daughter comes in and we're high-fiving each other. And then my son and husband have run in and left the 5-year-old on the drive, and she's bawling. She's like, it's not fair, it's not fair. And she comes in and we have a whole mindset session. I said, listen, you're the youngest in life. Life ain't fair, but you can't cry about it. You just, and we're gone. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. We don't fold. We do not fold. We are a family that we're focused and we don't fold. We fight. We want to win everything, right? In fact, around the dinner table today, I had to tell them off because they were like, last one to finish eating. And they were like, and I said, listen, you gotta stop. Stop with competing. Eat slowly. You're going to be sick. And they're literally like, even though I said stop eating, how we do anything is how we do everything. And so if you are slack concerning one area, know it's going to trickle in other areas. Know that it's going to come back and it keeps biting you and biting you and biting you until you take a look in the mirror and say, I need to sort this out. What do you need to claim power over? Is it your paperwork? Is it your time management? Is it your productivity? Is it your prioritization? Is it your self-talk? Is it you showing up for yourself? You see, a lot of people think I'm over the top with this and it's not a big deal, Nikki. But one of the rules I have is everywhere you go, show up. If it means you wear big earrings, if it means you wear a pink shirt so you're remembered, glasses, hat, if it means you have a special, unique thing about yourself that people are always going to remember, if it means you show up in a group chat and everyone must know you're there, if it means that you show up on a Zoom call and you must be remembered, if it means whatever it takes for you to be remembered, never enter into a building, a meeting, a show and not be remembered. You must leave your mark in this world. How many of you will not forget? Think about somebody at work. Who is that person that you know is never going to be forgotten? They come in with these big shoes, big earrings, or, they have a saying or a special laugh, or there's just something about them that, yeah, that's the one, right? You got to command your territory, and it works through everything in your life. How you dress, how you speak. We had Jen at the event, and she gave a powerful talk about parents and teens and how, we as parents and how to effectively communicate with our kids, right? Some of this stuff weren't taught to us when we were growing up. Our parents didn't even know how to communicate well. We got told, what was it? When adults are talking, children know their place. You don't even ask questions. Asking questions was frowned upon when we were younger. Now, here's the thing, as you grow older, in order for you to have your breakthrough, in order for you to really win, you got to learn to ask questions, because successful people ain't just giving out the answers. You got to be able to ask the right questions. How many of you have ever had a problem with asking questions? I'm begging a friend. I don't want no one to tell me no. The spirit of rejection. So what if they don't answer me? Do you know that you can DM a successful person and 9 times out of 10, you're going to get an answer? They will answer you. You see, you're the one making yourself powerless. We're telling ourselves, we're brainwashing ourselves, telling ourselves that we can't ask questions. Why? Because when we were growing up, we weren't allowed to ask questions, because children, should be seen and not heard. Right? The answer was, when you dare to even ask a question, because I said so, me or your mother. That's it. That's the end of the conversation, period, full stop. Don't even ask, right? So now as adults, we can't even ask questions because we have these old paradigms that's been rooted into our brains. And now we're teaching it to our kids as well. We turn it into the parents. The parents ask stuff. The children ask you stuff. Mommy says so. And then we start teaching them the bad habits with money. Money don't grow on trees. Don't ask big people questions. Yeah, peer renting, yeah. Why would a child be paying rent? Why on earth would you say to a child, are you paying rent? Are they supposed to be paying rent? Yeah, pay the mortgage. Like, those kind of questions are psychologically damaging, guys. Because what we're saying to the child is, you have no rights because you are not paying any bills in this house. Girl. Sometimes when you think back and you listen to some of the things your parents taught you, and don't get me wrong, I love my mom. I love her to bits. She is the reason why I'm so driven. She's the reason why, certain successes in my life, because, she was my wife for most of my life. I wanted to really just bless her and help her. But mighty God, she got it from my grandma. And when I listen to my grandma, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, that's where she got it from. But how do we do better? How do we reprogram ourselves so our children don't get those psychological teachings that don't make sense? I was in the hairdressers on the weekend, and I was sitting there speaking to a lady, and she was talking about this whole Peckham incident with the guy who was abusing the woman in Peckham, and then it got on to partner, and she was like, yeah, I need to get my partner drawer. And I said, partner? I said, you're still doing partners? Like, she was like, yeah. I said, you do know why we used to do partners, right? You know why? Because she was like, yeah, back in the slavery days, that's the only way us as people could save. I was like, yeah, back in the slavery days, that's the only way we could save. Back in the slavery days. Did you hear what you just said? Back in the slavery days. Some of us are still living as slaves. Some of us are still in slavery mentality. Like, really? So I said to her, let me break down what you're doing, and you tell me if you think, my title is Money and Mindset Mentor. So I just want to understand if this makes money sense. That you're going to give your money every week to a person who's not a banker. They're just a person who keeps that cash money in their house. And then after a certain amount of time, they give you your money back, and you pay them a little extra for holding on to your money in their house with no interest, no return on your investment. And in fact, if they happen to get robbed, which a lot of partner ladies are these days, because everybody knows they're the partner lady, you have no insurance because they were putting it under their mattress. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You're better off buying a block of gold and keeping that under your bed and letting that mature in value. You're better off buying some silver and holding that and letting that grow in value and cashing it when you need it. You're better off flipping that money in the Forex and cryptocurrency markets. I see Jazz on the call. She's a trader, right? I see Cass on the call, the traders. You're better off doing something else with your money, even a cash ISA, which is tax-free, right? It's my banking experience coming in. But you're giving your money to, most of the time, one little old lady around the road who, should she get robbed, you have all your money gone. Make it make sense. I can tell you these stories. Listen, there's a girl, she was having this pie. It was a pie that she used to make every single Sunday. Her husband loved the pie. And the girl's making a pie, and the husband's like, every Sunday this pie runs out. We're a family of 5. Why'd you keep making a small pie? You know we love the pie. Make it in a bigger tin. She's like, nah, this is the tin. This is a special tin. It's my mama's recipe. This is a tin. So he goes to the mom and he's like, listen, your daughter said it's your recipe. Can you tell me why? Why is it in this tin? This tin is too small. Like, we need a bigger tin. Your daughter's saying she can't do it because it's family, family recipe, blah, blah. Can you tell me why? So the mom says, well, guess what? I didn't do it. It's, grandma, my mom. So I took it from her. So he goes to her and he's like, grandma, your daughter, my wife, they're all doing this pie, and they said it came from you. So is there a way that you could give us something, why it's in this tin? Like, what's the uniqueness? What's the family lineage of why it's in the tin? Grandma was like, listen, back in my day, that's the only tin they sold. Back in my day, we didn't have any other tins. So that's all we could do. And we could only afford those little ingredients. So that's all we could have. If we had bigger tins back in that day, we would have made bigger ones. If I had more money back then, we would have made bigger ones. Some of these people are like that granny, that granddaughter that's just repeating all of these generational, seems to be habits that make no sense. And I put to you today, based on what this book says, that there are a couple of reasons why we allow ourselves to be powerless. Number one, we're afraid that nothing else will work. So we resort to what the book says is coercive power, or power to do something to someone else. So we revert to just doing as it always has been, allowing other people to tell us what to do, sticking to the norm. We heard Bob Proctor at the beginning of this call say, most people just do what everybody else is doing because they don't want to feel left out. They don't want to do anything different. They just want to fit in. I tell you today, and I pray and I play it on this call, that some of you on this call are going to decide to step out of the grain. Some of you on this call are going to decide that you are going to be the one that your family can look on and have you on the wall to say, it's because my great-grandma, my great-granddad, why we now have generational wealth, why we now have marriages working in our family lineage, why we now have judges, doctors, business owners, entrepreneurs, why we now have stakes in investments, why we now are manifesting wealth, why we have gold in our family. Some of you on this call are going to receive that word and say, it's up to me. It's up to me to be that person. I'm the chosen one in my family to be able to step up and say, no, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm a visionary. I'm the one that has to do it for my family. Somebody is going to say, it's up to me. It's up to me, because the book says when we are afraid that nothing else will work, we won't do it. And so I want to tell you today that there are so many living testimonies. I'm a living testimony that you can go against the grain and still, if not even more so, thrive for your family. My children will never have to join a gang or go down a chicken shop and get someone to buy them a burger for them to seal some kind of covenant with these gangs to be able to. My children will never have to do that because they're scared of money, because I taught them about money. I've shown them how to make money. They understand the psychology of money. They understand business ownership. They understand the difference between working for someone, passive income and active income. They understand this stuff. We sit down every Sunday and we have conversations. What do we need to do to teach our children so that they don't fall into some of the traps that we see? But we first have to understand the power that's on the inside of us. Can you sit down with your kids every week and say, let me teach you about passive income? Let me teach you about loving yourself. Do you know, I wish my mom would have told me, your nose isn't big, your skin isn't too dark, you are beautiful, you are lovely, right? Instead, I got the tough love. I remember when my first boyfriend broke up with me, she was like, "Chuck, look how much man they bought. Fix up, man. You're ball over, man. Are you really balling over?" Like, it was the tough love. But yes, tough love is important because I feel like it made me, really thick skin. But we also have to communicate with our kids and let them understand this stuff. Financial literacy is one. I wouldn't have stayed in an abusive relationship if it wasn't for money, if I didn't feel like I needed him to help me with the bills and help me with stuff. Self-love is so important. Your standards, your boundaries. Because if you fall for everything, you stand for nothing. And so we got to make sure we teach these kids this, so this generational curses and habits begin to fall off. The second thing is, it says, is sometimes we bargain with what we want. How many of us have been in a place where we bargain with what we want? Oh yeah, you said you was going to be married. But then because he didn't agree, you were like, okay, maybe I got the ring, so let's be engaged. Engaged is good. Oh yeah, you said you wanted to be a millionaire and you saw it didn't start happening. And so all of a sudden you're like, okay, cool. 6 figures is good. You declared what it is that you wanted, but when you didn't see what, it happening in the time frame you wanted, you start to negotiate. We start to make deals, it says. It says our deal is constantly up for grabs as we check to see what other options we may have. Maybe you find someone better qualified to do the job. Maybe I decide I no longer need what you have. So you now start to negotiate with your power. You negotiate with your time, negotiate with your skill set. Some of you need to say negotiation done. Get that fire back in you. Get that fire back in you. Know your worth. Understand your power. Understand who you are. Negotiation done. If you can't be loyal, out the door. If you can't be legit, out the door. If I feel like you're dodgy or shady, out the door. I'm gonna park you, bro. You can't stay in my life and disrespect me and dishonor me, and I still stick around making negotiation. When I was with my ex, I used to be like, oh, maybe one day, he's gonna marry me one day. Hell no. He had no intention to marry me. Because when we broke up, he married the next gal within 6 months. You had no intention of marrying me, bro, but you knew you could take and take and take and take and take, because I continued to negotiate with my worth. Some of you need to stop negotiating on your worth, understand the power that's on the inside of you, and begin to say no. No, this is my level. This is my standard. This is my price. This is my boundary. And if you don't like it, then that's your business. Go find somebody else. Go find a cheaper version. When they start to reject you guys, know they had to find a cheaper version. No, they never go up. That was shady. Lord cover me, right? No negotiation. Negotiation done. Negotiation done. Negotiation done, guys. And the third and final power, it says, is the power comes or goes, but the influence happens over time. Oh. Oh. Mighty God. Over time. Have you ever sat down and said to yourself, how on earth did we get here? Like, how did it get to this? Like, I don't have nothing to wave. I want to wave a red flag. Like, when you see these red flags, guys, I'm so good at spotting them now. Let me tell you what happened. And we're going to close out this call. Before I give you guys a special announcement, I'm going to tell you what happened. You know, I like to teach through personal experience. So I met this girl on Instagram and, you know, we were doing so well. She was a coach. A lot of the people that come and connect with me are normally coaches. And she's a coach. And again, she had made 6 figures once, but never consistently made 6 figures. And she was like, Nikki, I need to get back up. I need to, you know, I need you to teach me some systems. I want to work with you. I want you to mentor me. I was like, fabulous, fantastic. And, you know, my posture's high, guys. I said, listen, this is the price. If you know, you tell me if it's within your budget. If not, I have other packages, but this is the price for what you say that you want. And, you know, she paid. She was like, yeah, great. Let's do it. Boom. She paid. And within a week, she started to make some money because, I mean, she was already a coach. She just needed to shift some stuff and we got on a call and boom, she started to make some money. Boom. And the first week, she made a couple of hundred. So she got half of her investment back, right? And she called me and she was like, oh my God, Nikki, I'm so fired up. I'm so excited. I actually want to recommend 2 people to your service. I said, fantastic. So she recommended 2 people. And they were like all for it. They took my number. They were like, yeah, amazing. We want to work with you. We've seen her results. Excellent. And anyway, after a week of that, so that was 2 weeks gone, she then calls me and says, Nikki, my husband, you know where this is going. My husband has heard the investment that I made in myself is £1,000. Okay, it wasn't a lot of money. My husband's heard the investment I made for myself, £1,000, and he's saying that I've been scammed. And I said, did you receive your product? She said, yes. I said, have you received your money from, you know, the investment that you made? Yes. So I said, do you know a scam? The definition of a scam is when you pay for something and you don't get the product or service that you've asked for. And she was like, yeah, I don't think I've been scammed, but my husband says he thinks I've been scammed. So I said to her this, I said, so what do you want to do? She said, I think I want to get my money back. I said, well, you're full and entitled to get a refund within 14 days. And today's day 13. So here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to log in with you and we're going to do the refund together. Because this, for me, this moment is a red flag. You know why it's a red flag? Because how you start. If you have to convince somebody to stay, you're going to have to convince them every single time. I want to teach you guys something. Sometimes it's better to say, I don't think we are aligned in business and I agree. Let me help you get that refund. And let's do this together before the 14-day elapses based on what you're saying. Because listen to me, you got to be bold in your conviction. You got to know what it is that you are doing. And you have to be able to see what things are when they are, right? And this is one thing that I need us to learn. And this has taken me years to take the rate. You may say, but Nikki, that's a bit harsh. Maybe you should have just spoke to her. Maybe she was having doubts. I'm experienced enough to know red flags when I see it. And let me tell you this, you know the red flags when you see them as well. But here's what you do. You make excuses for them. You start to beg them. You start to negotiate on your values. You start to spend more time, energy, money on the people that you have no business. Listen, let me free someone for you today. I'm going to free someone on this call. Everyone isn't your assignment. Write that down. Everybody isn't my assignment. In fact, if you're following me on Instagram, you will see that I end now most of my posts with, I'm looking for who's looking for me. Everyone isn't my assignment. I am not everyone's cup of tea, and not everyone is my cup of tea. And I don't want everyone to be my cup of tea. God designed me for a purpose, and that purpose will come to pass with the right people he aligns me with. If I am to work with you, it's because God ordained me to work with you. And if you have doubts, that's the first sign we should work together. Let me tell you, if you have to convince someone to work with you, if you have to convince someone to buy from you, if you have to, now there's difference between asking questions and telling someone your worth. My husband doesn't believe you'll be able to help me. Well, what do you believe? I hear what your husband believes, but what do you believe? Everybody isn't your assignment. I could see that this girl was going to make me feel insecure. This girl was about to put on me all her feelings, her bad feelings between her and the energy between the partner. I don't need that baggage. I am way too deep in the game. I'm way too confident. I know the power that's on the inside of me. Anyone who works with me is blessed. I need you to write that down in your paper. Anyone I serve, anyone who works with me is blessed. So if they miss the mark, that's their loss, not mine. And so I actually suggested that she clicked in and she got a refund. I want to end on this one point, guys. Who is for you cannot be not for you. Who is for you cannot. Let me tell you this. Look me in the eye. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, and you cannot say the right thing to the wrong person. I could have sat there for hours saying to this girl, listen, I can see your business. I can help you. If this is how much you've made in just less than a week, imagine how we could work together. You cannot say the wrong thing. I tell you this, I spoke to another lady, and she was like, oh, Nikki, we had an appointment. And she said, Nikki, can we speak at 4 o'clock on this day? I was like, okay, cool. I'll shift some things around. 4 o'clock, I'll give you a call. 4 o'clock, I called her. She didn't answer. And so I sent a message to say, hey, look, I've called you 4 o'clock. It looks like you may be busy. Let's reschedule another time. She messaged me back and she was like, Nikki, can I call you back in 15 minutes? I was like, no, I've got something else to do. I can't call you back. She's like, well, Nikki, can we do tomorrow? I'm like, no, I'm busy, right? 4 o'clock today was the thing. I've already marked out my day for this time and you've not honored my time. I'm busy. I'm sorry. She rang me 4:01. Nikki, do you know what? I'm driving, but I didn't want to miss you. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. She knew what she wanted. And so she said, listen, I ain't even make no excuses. It's 4:01. I need to speak to you, Nikki. And guess what she did? She enrolled straight away. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. If somebody wants your time, energy, your efforts, your skill set, your vessel, they will make provisions to prioritize whatever they need to do. And likewise, you cannot say the right thing to the wrong person. You could say all the product. Have you ever said something to someone where you're selling them the most? You're giving them statistics, screenshots. You're showing them all the results. You could tell them 20,000 millionaires that you've created, and they're still like, I don't think it's for me. You cannot say the right thing to the wrong person. So hear what? Trust. Can you trust that God has aligned you for a time such as this with the right people that are coming? In fact, I remember changing my affirmations, and my affirmation says, good, positive, powerful leaders are joining my mission every single day. God is aligning me with the right people at the right time that's going to help me to serve this mission of impact. I cannot miss who is for me, and who is not for me cannot come nigh me. I began to rewrite my affirmation. Sometimes you got to rewrite yours as well. And so today we're looking at the power that's in the palm of your hands. You have the power to choose to be powerful or powerless. You have the power to choose how you handle a situation. You have the power to love yourself enough to know and to trust that the reason why they couldn't come nigh you is because God saw something about them that could destroy your passion, destroy your mission, or destroy your vision. So He's had to take them away quick. Don't you dare allow people that can't afford you, people that don't have the mindset to be around you, make you feel insecure about who you're supposed to be. And so today, guys, homework. I'm excited about today. Homework today is I want you to reintroduce yourself on your Instagram page or your Facebook or whatever it is that you have. I want to reintroduce yourself, but I want you to be the new powerful you. I want you to declare who you are on that page, who you're looking for, the people that you want to work with, the people that you don't want to work with. Listen, sometimes you got to be bold in your statements. You see, the reason why one of my mentors said this to me, Nikki, you cannot aim for everyone and no one at the same time. It makes no sense. If you aim for everyone, you're aiming for no one. So here's what I want you to do. Mission statement. Hi, my name is Danielle. Hi, my name is Christine. Hi, my name is Belinda. I am an empowerment coach, and I am looking to empower the lives of another 20 people before the year is over in health and wellness, in positive mindset, in commanding your territory, in knowing who you are. And you put that out there. You say, here's what I'm looking for. People that are consistent, committed. You must have money to invest, okay? And you must not be a time waster. I am looking for who's looking for me. Can you go out there and declare what it is that you are and own your shizzle? Can you own it? Can you really own who you are without people pleasing, begging no one to work with you, begging anyone to be, to be your fan club? Can you be your biggest fan club? And I tell you this, look who you start to attract. Look who starts to come into your life. Guys, I'm so fired up right now because I know exactly what's happening. I know that this rebuild that you're about to do, this next 90 days that you are about to do is going to be the best 90 days of your life. It's going to be elevation, impact, increase. There's about to be a whole generation of impact based on the decisions that you're going to make over the next 24, 48 hours that's going to help you to really launch and go big in this next 90 days. Guys, I'm super fired up. It's your girl, Nikki Sutherland. You know what to do. Tag me in on IG. Put your quotes of your favorite part. If you're inside the community, put your top 5 takeaways. And I promised you a special announcement, guys. And that special announcement, let me see if it will allow me to open it up. If you was at the Rebuild event over the weekend, check your email. You would have had a couple of emails or an email from me from the perfectly planned email address. It may be in your junk, so go ahead and check that, okay? If you haven't already seen it, there's a few special things I've put in that email for those of you that attended, but one of the special announcements is, of course, the Rebuild Reunion Special Appreciation Award Ceremony, Dinner and Dance. So make sure you get your ballroom dresses. Make sure you have your tuxedos for your men. This is going to be on the 25th of November, okay? Tickets up until this month will be only £30, and then it goes to £60 after this month, okay? We really want to make sure that we can service everyone. Of course, my incredible husband will be cooking. Oh, you know how it is, okay? And we also have a lineup, guys. Let's not play with this lineup. We have the incredible strategic coach, corporate girl, HR girl, Michelle Raymond. We have a good friend of mine, Janet Brim, CEO of Skill Sanctuary, specializing in lawyers and solicitors and anyone in the legal field. We also have Emmanuel Asukwo, of course, BBC and television financial advisor. My good sister, Anne-Marie Lawrence, who is incredible when it comes to charity, serving, and just giving across the board. Of course, OBE, Dwayne Brooks, okay, MP, rolling out from South London. Michael Ajay, business strategist and coach. And of course, Nathaniel P., which is a mogul, friends with Richard Branson. He owns his own karate club around the world, businessman, Jamaican blueprints. This man does everything. He's also the guy that I collaborate with when I go into prisons every month as well. So we have a fantastic lineup. Those of you that have been to anything of Rebuild, whether that be these mindset calls, whether it be the events, bought the book, whether it be any part of the rebuild, okay, part of the network marketing community, whatever, can come to this rebuild reunion. Feel free to share it on your pages, on your social medias. You can get the ticket from therebuild.co.uk, okay, and just go straight into the shopping basket, and you'll be able to purchase your tickets there. The awards will be for anybody that has attended any part of the rebuild that I feel, based on your activity, based on what I've seen, if you're posting stuff inside the community or on Instagram, your successes, I am going to be giving out awards based on, you know, who's been the star students for the rebuild reunion. So whether you only came, you know, on this call just now, whether you only been to one of the workshops, or whether you've been to all of them, everyone has a chance at winning an award. And you want to get dressed up with, of course, your dancing shoes, because we have a credible DJ as well to party out the night. There is also two more spots left for the women's retreat, okay? And if you haven't already applied, please, the link is in my bio to apply. I will be doing all the calls towards the end of this week. The last interviews will be done, as well as those of you that were here on Saturday. That should be in your email as well, okay? So check your junk. If you haven't got it, you can send me a message and I'll happily get that out to you. Also, as well, we have one more special announcement. Let me see if I can share that. I know a few of you wanted to find out about the trading and crypto, as well as the podcast is out. Who's watched it already? Let me know. If you haven't already, listen, I'm sure I've had some really good feedback on it. The podcast is litty committee. Go ahead and, you know, share. I appreciate the love and support from the rebuild community as well. And I'm just looking for the final flyer, which is going to really excite you guys, which starts tomorrow. I've decided that I'm going to be serving in a capacity that I'm not served before, and I'm going to be opening up to the world, okay, the blessing that has been a blessing to me, which is financial literacy 2.0. So from tomorrow at 9 p.m., okay, tomorrow at 9 p.m., your girl will be hosting, okay? Feel free to take a screenshot of this. I'll pop this in the community as well. I will be hosting the 7 rules to the money movement, financial literacy, from Tuesday to Thursday for the next few weeks, 9 p.m. UK time. This is open to the world. Anyone can come on. Anyone can, you know, learn. I'm going to be teaching some stuff. You guys can come on and learn for absolutely free. If you're interested in Forex, cryptocurrency, you've ever been interested in trading, doesn't matter if you're beginners, you understand nothing. I'm going to be breaking it down from real beginners up to advanced. So please take a screenshot. I'll be doing that 9 p.m. Tuesday to Thursday over the next few weeks, okay? Tell a friend to tell a friend. It is free, F-R-E-E, free, absolutely free, guys. I will be dropping these nuggets to help people to be able to make money from these markets, okay? So I'm very excited about that. Now, last one is for those of you that came on Saturday. Okay, you would have seen and heard that we are celebrating a 60th birthday, okay? It is the amazing Joan. She's turning 60, and she's decided to get radical. She's understood the power that's on the inside of her, and she's decided to do her own birthday celebration launch that will be on Zoom, okay? So that will be Wednesday at 7 p.m., all right, and we all promised that we was going to support her on this launch. So if you are available to support Joan, please do jump on and support her in her business launch. She's launching a part of her health and wellness. Here it is. It's her business launch on Zoom. The meeting ID and password is there. So feel free to take a screenshot of that. You know, one thing I love to do is celebrate businesses, and anyone who's launching a business, Let me know and we can celebrate yours as well. 7 p.m. on Wednesday, Joan's 60th celebration and birthday launch is happening, and we're all going to jump on that Zoom and just support her. I'll be running it with her, and she says you're invited to join us with a drink and some nibbles as we dine and dance. So we're going to be on Zoom watching them eat food. So maybe you bring a drink with you for those of you that will be on Zoom and not in the house. But we celebrate Joan. Imagine 60th, and she's like, listen, I'm launching my business. There you go. She's found the power on the inside of her. And with that being said, guys, God bless you all. Super, super excited. We're excited for Joan. We're excited for every person who's decided to really launch their business. Now, before you leave this call, okay, I know some of you who are already in both communities, you're going to put your takeaways on the chat, but can you drop in one thing that you've taken away from today's call? What are you going to do? What's the power that's on the inside of you? How are you going to execute your power? Are you going to do the homework this week? I know some of you slack on the homework, all right, but make sure you do the homework. Can you drop in the chat, what have you taken away from today's call? And are you prepared to go and live in your power? Okay. Maybe if you're going to put it in the community, you can do that. Or if it's too long to type, drop it on Instagram, tag me in, we'll reshare it and we'll celebrate it. But I want everyone to type into the chat box power for me as we shut out this call for the day and walk in our power for the rest of the week. Okay. We're going to walk in our power for the rest of this week, guys. And you already know what time it is. I'm so excited, guys. We are celebrating, a very, very powerful movement. People have decided to walk inside their power, and I am here right with you, ready to take it to the next level. Good night. God bless you. This will be available on YouTube.